A familiar spirit is something that is foreign to a person, but that knows a person intimately and means the person maximal harm. So imagine an entity that knows you very well and knows not only knows you but knows your family, has been with your family for many generations, so knows your DNA, knows your genetic, your biology, knows your physiology, from your relatives, knows everything there is to know about you in order to deceive and further ensnare you, and knows what's worked in the past with other relatives. And that's what makes familiar spirits particularly dangerous and harmful. They know us intimately, but they want um, to cause us harm. And not only are they invited in through whatever, I don't pretend to know all there is to know about how generational curses occur and how familiar spirits jump from one family member to the next with, permission at birth or whatever. But they do, and they can allow other spirits in because they know what buttons to push, they know what codes to press in order to have free reign over a person's life. And they're so familiar with us and so good at hiding themselves, they become embedded in our very personality. And people look at a family and be like, why, this, why is there so much sexual deviancy in this family, why is there so much mental illness, why is there so much psychopathy in this family? And it could be familiar spirits masquerading as personality glitches when in fact they're generational curses. And because they're so well embedded within the people just assume, this is just how we are, and they don't take the steps to get deliverance from demonic possession. But what happens, like in my case, when you start to get deliverance, is that you start seeing the spirits that have been hiding within. For instance, I would see a spirit sitting in a chair of a deceased relative in my dreams. And that is an indication of, this spirit owns me through a generational curse. Or that's how the spirit sees itself, as owning me because I'm part of this family lineage. And and thus the spirit not only knows me but has the codes in order to press the right buttons in order to make me behave in a certain way or in order to trick me into allowing other spirits in. Um, so I started to see this. I started to be brought into houses of relatives because this demonic entity that wanted reentry was showing me, look, I own you because you are related to such and such. And that's the way they see it. I don't know exactly how these demons think, but it seems as though they feel as though since you are part of this bloodline that has this generational curse placed on it, I own you, and I'm showing you that I own you by bringing you into the houses of people you're related to, so that you know that this is a family thing. I'm familiar with you. I own you. You have to let me back in. They're pushy, but that's why you have to start by getting deliverance from demonic possession before you start to see how they work within you, or else you'll think it's a personality thing. You'll think that I'm just naturally this way. I just naturally like to watch violent movies, or I just naturally like to watch pornography, or all these other sins that people engage in and are convinced by society, by movies, by Hollywood that it's normal when it's not. So, but the first step is always to try to seek deliverance, seek, the Holy Spirit. Um, or ask the Holy Spirit to show you what is causing you to continually sin. It's more than likely a demon. And if it's a familiar spirit, then it'll probably take a little more time because, like I said, they know you better. Spirits, demons, fallen angels are older than we are. Um, they have more knowledge, and they have more not because they're spiritual. They have more knowledge of how we work since the angels were created above us, so they have more knowledge of how the flesh works. So it might take a little bit more time because it's a foreign entity that wants to do you harm, that knows your family, that knows the buttons to push in order to um, make you sin, make you fall, and they're there to ensnare you. And they think that they own you, but they don't. You know, you can break away from that curse, and it's a blessing to be able to see, see that this is a generational curse. This is a familiar spirit, and I can get deliverance from this familiar spirit by submitting to God and allowing the Holy Spirit to show me the intentions of the spirit and to show me that this familiar spirit is separate. Even though I've seen, you can tell yourself, even though I've seen familiar habits, things that I don't like within my family, I can change that because now that I see it's a foreign entity. It's a demonic entity that has fooled other people within the family and is now seeking to fool me. But the Holy Spirit is showing me what this demonic entity's intentions are. So while familiar spirits are dangerous and while they mean us nothing but harm, um, once we see what they are and once we see that they are connected to their generational curse or whatnot, we can then start to see how they have ensnared others or how they might have ensnared others within the family and how they also use the family members who might have not sought deliverance yet to try to trap us back, into that cursed condition where we have to submit to a familiar spirit that is somehow got its way into the family. Um, but there's always hope in the Holy Spirit, which will show us all things that can help us to see past the web of illusions and deceptions that these demonic entities put in front of our eyes in order to keep working in secrecy. But once they're revealed, we can see that we're separate from behaviors and habits that are harmful. And once we see that we're separate from them and it's a foreign entity that's trying to make us fall, then we can feel deliverance and knowing that the Holy Spirit is trying to lift us up.